what BAE does now, what BAE does now as it stands now is it simplifies shopping for any individual.
If I have to buy something, say I have to buy a wristwatch,
Yeah.
or I have to buy shades,
Yeah.
what are the aspects that Bay helps me with? Is it only the pricing or is it the styling?
No.
It's a typical matchmaking.
Typically, yes.
So matrimony is one of the most booming industries today. Golden word, scalability.
Yeah.
That differentiates a business from a startup.
Understand the problem. Please don't take solution suggestions from the users because you will end up with a mess.
All right.
Take problems from them. You should come up with a solution. That's where you should build your expertise on.
So, what is your advice to young startups with respect to playing the funding game?
Funding, please go for funding when you have a demand. Be it an explored territory, unexplored territory, that doesn't matter. You have to be there.
Welcome to yet another episode of DR.Kristalkz. We've got Mr. Tony, a very, very interesting founder in the startup space. He's the founder of BAE. Before we go into BAE, Mr. Tony, welcome on board and tell us about yourself.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Thanks for having me here. So I'm Graceson, as you introduced. So I'm into entrepreneurship for about 9 years now. I come from a humble background that's from Madurai, tier 2 city that's based in Tamil Nadu, India. And I'm looking to make a difference in the shopping space with the emergence of AI. And I'm looking to make something sensible for people. I'm looking to make an impact where people can use this product at scale and have their life simplified at the end of the day. So yeah, that's who I am.
Wonderful. So that's good to hear. It's good to hear people from so many towns and smaller places grow to such huge, take up such huge positions today. I wish I can also be from a smaller town, getting inspired by someone like you. But yes, it's good to see you grow on the global stage. So tell us about BAE and the evolution.
Sure. So it's Bay, keeping it simple, it's Bay.
Bay.
Yeah. So Bay being a mainstream word, the way it germinated was the main intention behind the name was business at ease. So we wanted to simplify business for people who are into business. And we were trying to solve some crucial problems for business in the first place. And what BAE does now, as it stands now is it simplifies shopping for any individual. So it's a simple shopping assistant which has a voice enablement. You can speak into the app and the app will take care of all your shopping needs. So when it comes to shopping, you have different stages in shopping. So you end up discovering a product and then you consider a few choices. Then there are a few products that builds your confidence and eventually you make your decision. So Bay takes care of all these steps.
Okay.
So let's say we start with discovery. What is broken now? You have too much information.
Certainly.
Right. You end up having a lot of information from websites. You get a bunch of websites, you get a bunch of videos when you're ending up, before even looking at ending up with a particular product. So what it does, it'll condense the information from across the web and it'll give you hyper personalized information that are very tailor made for your particular needs, whichever the product be.
Okay.
And that's the first thing that happens. So you get product choices that are very, very tailor made for your needs. That's in the first place. So you're automatically bridging this gap of consideration and confidence building, and you're not left with too many choices to decide from. So you are given a very niche choice from which you can choose from, like which is very specific to you. So consideration is sorted. And when it comes to confidence building, that's very much around where you are getting it from.
So, okay, let me ask you something.
Sure.
If I have to buy something, say I have to buy a wristwatch,
Yeah.
or I have to buy shades,
Yeah.
what are the aspects that Bay helps me with? Is it only the pricing, or is it the styling?
No. So when you onboard on Bay, you're profiled in the first place. Bay will try and understand who is talking to me. So you onboarding on Bay is like having Bay as your companion in the first place.
All right.
So it'll try to understand who you are. So it'll start with simple demographic insights, starting from your name, age, gender, and then it'll also understand your external ecosystem as to where you are from, your terrain. Then it'll also understand the weather conditions of that particular place. Over a period of time, with the kind of prompt and response, I mean, the conversation that happens between you and Bay, it'll have a better insight as to who you are. So your persona is defined. Now Bay knows you, and Bay also knows the internet,
Right.
right? So what it does, you don't have to filter the products. You don't have to go into any like prominent websites that are there today, going into Flipkart, putting all the filters, searching for the specific product. So given it knows you better than you, to put it in the best sense possible, so it'll do the searching for you. It'll squeeze through, and it does not, I mean, it's not limited to a specific platform.
Okay.
It goes across. So you end up getting, now getting back to your question, saying like what it does, it knows you, it'll apply the most appropriate filters to bring the results, and it'll eventually give you the most appropriate products in terms of what exactly is required.
Fantastic.
So that's how it works. Yeah.
So it's a typical matchmaking.
Typically, yes.
So matrimony is one of the most booming industries today, and you're getting us the right match, but not just the marital match, but anything,
The product match, yes.
any product or any shopping. That is
Yeah.
interesting. So AI plays a role in every industry,
Definitely.
a major one. How have you integrated AI into Bay?
So that is one key point I'd like to make before getting to answer that, so it gives you more context. So any particular change in the market is primarily through curiosity, right?
Right.
So there is loads and loads of curiosity around AI. So that is actually building the bubble or boom, like whatever you call it. So that's all what it is, taking it to heights as it stands now. Now, why AI is, or Bay is completely AI is, like, or only with AI we are able to achieve this is, we have this intelligence element. Like I mentioned, I am talking about Bay understanding you, Bay understanding the internet, Bay understanding the products that are there in the internet. This wouldn't happen without AI, right? Like you throwing a search, you searching for something is simply you searching something. It has no intelligence built within. Even after so many data tailoring and data engineering that is happening behind, there is no intelligence that is like layering on top of whatever that is happening. So we will not have Bay without AI. That's the best way to put it. And this is a completely AI product.
Got it.
Yeah. And how did we get to this? This all started with a problem statement as to who understands people and who understands internet. So AI does that. So that's the point of connection, I believe.
Amazing.
So yeah.
Amazing. So AI is evolving. AI is becoming AGI.
Yeah.
So with artificial general intelligence, that's all set to take over at the end of the decade, maybe. What is your vision for Bay, and how do you wish to combat it?
So, like, given that we are building it ground up at the end of the day, we don't want to get into the trap of the race between tech evolution and user demand. So, we are obsessed with user. I mean, at the end of the day, we want to give something to the consumer that's using the product, irrespective of what it takes, right? So, yes, we'll get into AGI if that's something the consumer demands at the end of the day. But we are never at race saying, oh, AGI is like evolving, let's bring AGI into this. This aside, our first focus is to make best use of AI in the first place and make the best out of it, exploit maximum out of it. Yes, we'll have experimentations when it comes to AGI as to if there are scope. I mean, if there is scope for changing certain bits here. So we usually get into a loop of setting the process, optimizing it, setting the process, optimizing it. It all starts with identifying the problem. So if that is a problem for which AGI we think might be the solution, yes, we'll experiment that. So yeah, like towards the end of the decade with AGI taking over, we'll see like where we are headed as well.
Fantastic, fantastic. So when you started Bay, what was the starting point? Was there a role model that you followed? Or was there a mentor? Where did the thought of Bay start as a seed?
I think there are two questions to your question. Like one, role model, I wouldn't say that. But what was behind Bay? I was this person who was like doing all these high level management tasks at companies. Like I was taking care of global expansion, I was taking care of GTM. There are companies where I had a team of about 30 people, which like I started with just me starting as a non-mara, me and eventually getting to a team of about 30 people. So these things, like, I mean, which were done by experts, I wanted to democratize that. For instance, let's take the example of strategic partnerships. Strategic partnerships very much feel that it's for the elite, right? Only companies that can afford it can do it. So I wanted to democratize strategic partnerships. So that was the whole start point of Bay, I should say. And then it has gotten into something else, I should say, like given our obsession for consumers and users and businesses at the end of the day. So we spend more time with consumers, people who could potentially use the product. And now it has gotten to a point where it is a purely consumer driven product, I should say. We take problems from them and we solve it for them. So keeping it simple, that's what we do.
All right, all right. So what was this one thing that gave you the spark for Bay? Where did the idea germinate?
Right. So talking about where it germinated, it was primarily my own problem, I should say. So like to keep it simple, I am that person. I'm a family man and I have my wife who gives me the list of ingredients that should be bought every week. So that's where it started, I should say. So I usually miss out the products that are on the list. So I was just thinking like, and
can't someone do it for me? So this is every guy's problem. I totally get that. Every family man watching. So here's your solution. If your wife's not happy, go with Bay.
So like this was the first problem, and two, every time there is this product they want to buy and they want to find the best price as to best place where you can get it, best price for it. You wait for coupons, right? You wait for cashbacks, you wait for rewards. So I should say like it wasn't like one moment, it was like multiple things put together. All of that like eventually took me to a direction where I evolved Bay into. So I just wanted to solve problems for myself first, and I could see that that was a problem at scale again. So I thought, yeah, let's give it to the people.
Very interesting. So what is that one advice you wish to give startup founders who are ambitious but at the same time don't wish to throw in tons of money into their startup?
Great. Ambitious founders, they'll find their answers at the end of the day. So I wouldn't call this an advice. This is more of a suggestion, I'd say.
But I should say I love that punchline of yours. Ambitious folks find their goal at the end of the day. That's fantastic. Yes, please.
So point number one, there is always a frugal or a free way of doing something. It's only that you have to get to it. Um, it's not always necessary to throw in money. And most products that have made big, I mean, a lot of products, I should say, about 70% of the products that are global as it stands now didn't have like tons of money thrown into it. Um, so, long story short, there is always a frugal and a free way of achieving things. Uh, Being ambitious is fine, but just ensure that you are on this track to eventually achieve where you're headed. That's number one. And get to more of actions. Like, yes, research works, overthinking doesn't work, thinking works. So, do a bit of research, try doing it. You might end up with something else. Like, don't always assume every time. Being too assumptive is also a very big problem at the end of the day. So ambition is fine. Ambition with action is priority. So yeah.
Fantastic. That's good to hear. So, as we proceed, a very simple and basic question.
Sure.
Tell us the difference between a business and a startup for many who still don't understand the difference.
Sure. So I'll keep it as simple as that. So startup is something that can make a difference at scale, be it you have tech within it or no tech attached. That's completely fine. You have a special innovation, you have a special sauce that's into it, that can make a difference at scale, right? And it should also have this element of scaling itself. While business is quite traditional a direction which includes selling a commodity, getting money out of it. There is no secret sauce involved. The secret sauce is very much around the smart work that you do at the end of the day. Yes, hard work is priority, but smart work works. Startup is something that has this special sauce and has this capacity of scaling on its own. So
Very
yeah.
interesting. Yes, like you say, I think it's that golden word, scalability,
Yeah.
that differentiates a business from a startup. So, getting more into the startup per se, what do you think are the various stages of a startup that a startup owner should ideally look at?
Great. Initially, it all starts with ideation. So I'll make it more relatable for an individual. When it's ideation, it's just you. You look at something, it should actually originate from a problem, but it's fine if you're having this particular idea which you want to do something with. It all starts with you. So you go to someone, you speak about it, and then like you validate it. An idea cannot become a product.
Right.
So that is this whole process. So
No one pays for an idea.
yeah. Not many people like are still aware of that, I should say. Like, people think that okay, with idea they have got into this. So yeah, getting back
It starts with ideation, which is basically the substructure
Correct.
that you don't see outside.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's just you there. And then you get to a point where you have validated saying, okay, this idea is feasible enough to making a product out of it. And that is a whole lot of evolution that happens all through this time. And then you get to prototyping that. To like, you have an idea, you speak to 10 people, you understand that okay, there is this commercial element involved, there is this impact element involved, there is this problem that is getting solved. You should always start, like, you should at least get to the problem that you're trying to solve at the idea stage itself. That's like, if it's not done, then it'll be a very pathetic direction that
Right.
you will potentially take. Then you get to prototyping that. Once you have a prototype, you talk to more people. Now, like, clever startups, what they do is like they create this hype around the product with just the prototype itself. They have this wait list, they throw a video saying okay, this is what it does. That's a very good direction to take. So once you have a prototype, you publish that to a lot of people, and you start building that in the public.
Right.
Then you get to an MVP. With MVP, you should be able to get to actual customers using it. You should give it to them. Forget about getting money from them.
Right.
Build your product with insights from them. Again, understand the problem. Please don't take solution suggestions from the users, because you will end up with a mess.
All right.
Take problems from them. You should come up with a solution. That's where you should build your expertise on. So
So I think that's another punchline.
yeah,
So don't take the solution from the customer.
definitely no.
Understand the problem and then create the solution. Work towards the solution yourself.
Correct.
Right.
So now you have the solutions. Like, you started with one problem, one idea. Now you have multiple problems that they have brought to your table, and all that is sitting within your product. You should ensure a clear roadmap towards it. Now you have users, now you have a product. Now you should all this while you should start talking about money for this particular product that they are using. And don't put a lot of money into MVP itself. See that, pick that particular small
Sense.
pick that small module of the product, build only that. That's a hair on fire problem. Don't take a funny problem that you think is going to work.
All right.
Right? It should be a hair on fire problem, and they should be willing to, first place, they should be willing to use it, and then it'll get to a point where they'll be willing to pay for it. That's when you have gotten to PMF. That's product market fit. By PMF, you should already be, I mean, you should be able to predict PMF already, because that'll be early signs of PMF. That's a completely different topic, I should say. So once you're hitting PMF, I think you should get to scale and go for investments only if it makes sense.
Okay.
If you think that there is that scale that you can reach out to, and there is a huge demand for money in terms of the roadmap that you have set, that's when you get to investments.
Right.
And then it takes you to growth, and it evolves into whatever it becomes ultimately. So yeah, these are the stages primarily.
Nice. So what is your advice to young startups with respect to playing the funding game?
Great. So, like I said in my like I discussed earlier, funding. Please go for funding when you have a demand, right? When you clearly see that this particular solution which your early customers are using, let's say they are in tens, they are in hundreds, you're fortunate if you have more while you're in PMF. So, and they're starting to pay for you. So, and you clearly see that only money can get you to more people.
Absolutely.
Right? That is this checkpoint that you'll have to keep in check. Number one. Number two, you'll also have a precursor that your product shows saying, okay, I have something that is getting me some money, and let's say I'm pouring in little more money into it and it becomes something else. For powering that, you would need money, and you should be very, very smart to identify that and to validate that you already have customers. And this will purely take you to places. You should have this instinct, I should say, and it should have its own research. I mean, it should be supported with proper research that you have done at the end of the day. So don't get into funding if these are not aligned, I should say. Yeah.
It was a very interesting few minutes with you. So before we conclude, let me ask you a question. Is it advisable to try out something new, an unexplored territory, or would you recommend go into the space that is already proven? What is your thought process before you went into Bay?
So there is no right and wrong in this. Wherever you are, like let's say it's an explored territory, you can still go for it. Try making a difference in the space. If it's an a territory that is already explored enough, right? So it's all about being in that space, having your understanding of that space, and eventually being able to become an expert of that space. So you start solutioning. You cannot solution without having an expertise in that space. So be it an explored territory, unexplored territory, that doesn't matter. You have to be there. Just be there, just breathe it, just know it as much as possible, and eventually get to a point where you are an expert of that particular space.
Right.
And you can definitely make a difference.
I totally get that. So I think the conclusion was fabulous. whether it was an unexplored territory or an explored territory, really doesn't matter. What makes a difference is what difference
You bring
you
to the
make
table.
to the domain. That's fantastic. I should say it was an absolute pleasure having you with us, Mr. Tony.